Jamal had grown up in a rough neighborhood where opportunities were limited. His single mother worked 2 jobs to keep their family afloat, and money was always tight. Most kids in his area dropped out of school early, getting involved in gangs or dead-end jobs. However, Jamal had a dream. He wanted to become an engineer. His teachers noticed his talent for mathematics and science early on. Mrs. Thompson, his 8th-grade math teacher, saw something special in him. "Jamal, you have the potential to do great things," she told him. "But potential means nothing without hard work and determination. Are you willing to put in the effort?" "Yes, ma'am," Jamal replied. "I want a different life than what I see around me." Mrs. Thompson became Jamal's mentor. She stayed after school to give him extra lessons, lent him textbooks, and helped him apply for scholarships to a better high school. When Jamal was accepted to Lincoln Academy, a prestigious private school across town, it seemed like a dream come true. However, attending Lincoln Academy proved more challenging than Jamal had anticipated. He was one of only 3 black students in his grade. Most classmates came from wealthy families and had attended expensive prep schools. They discussed vacations to Europe, private tutors, and summer camps that cost more than Jamal's mother earned in a year. At first, Jamal felt like an outsider. His clothes were second-hand, and he couldn't afford the latest technology everyone else had. During lunch, conversations centered on topics he knew nothing about. Some students were openly curious about where he came from, asking questions that felt invasive. Others simply ignored him. The academic work was also more demanding than anything he'd experienced. Jamal studied constantly, often staying up until midnight to complete assignments. While other students seemed to breeze through homework, he struggled to keep up. There were moments when he wondered if he belonged there at all. One particularly difficult day, a classmate named Blake made a cruel comment. "I don't know why they let people like you in here," Blake said loudly in the cafeteria. "This school is for students who actually deserve to be here, not charity cases." Jamal felt humiliated and angry. He wanted to respond to defend himself, but he knew that reacting aggressively would only confirm Blake's prejudices. Instead, he walked away, his fists clenched and his jaw tight. That evening he called Mrs. Thompson, explaining what had happened. "I don't think I can do this," he admitted. "Maybe I should just go back to my old school where I fit in." Mrs. Thompson listened patiently, then responded firmly. "Jamal, you're experiencing something unfair and wrong. However, giving up would mean letting people like Blake win. You belong at that school because you earned your place there. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." Her words gave Jamal strength. He decided that instead of hiding or trying to fit in, he would focus on excelling academically. He joined the robotics club, where his talent quickly became apparent. He helped the team design a robot that won regional competitions. His contributions earned respect from classmates who had previously overlooked him. Jamal also found allies in unexpected places. Emma, one of his classmates, approached him after a robotics meeting. "I wanted to apologize," she said. "I've been aware of how some students treat you, and I should have said something. What Blake said was inexcusable." Emma became Jamal's first real friend at Lincoln Academy. She introduced him to other students who were more open-minded. Together, they formed a study group that helped everyone improve their grades. Jamal discovered that many of his classmates struggled with their own insecurities, despite their privileged backgrounds. As his confidence grew, Jamal started speaking up in class more frequently. He shared perspectives that his classmates with their limited life experiences had never considered. In history class, when discussing poverty, Jamal offered insights that came from lived experience. His teacher praised his contributions, noting how they enriched class discussions. By junior year, Jamal's grades placed him among the top students in his class. College counselors encouraged him to apply to elite universities. However, the application process revealed new challenges. Essays asked him to describe his background, and Jamal struggled with how much to share. Would admissions officers see him as a victim needing rescue, or as someone who had overcome obstacles through strength and determination? With Mrs. Thompson's guidance, Jamal wrote essays that were honest without being pitying. He described his neighborhood not as a place of despair, but as a community where people supported each other despite hardships. He explained how his mother's work ethic inspired him and how limited resources had taught him creativity and resilience. When acceptance letters arrived, Jamal had multiple options, including scholarships to prestigious engineering programs. His mother cried with joy when he showed her the letters. "I always knew you were destined for greatness," she said, hugging him tightly. However, Jamal's success created an unexpected problem. Some people in his old neighborhood accused him of selling out or acting white. Friends he'd grown up with said he'd changed, that he thought he was better than them now. The accusation hurt deeply because Jamal had never wanted to abandon his roots. He addressed this during his high school graduation speech, which he'd been selected to deliver. "I've been told that pursuing education and success means leaving my community behind," Jamal began. "But I reject that idea completely. My success doesn't mean I've forgotten where I came from, it means I'm creating opportunities to give back and help others succeed too." He continued, "I've learned that breaking barriers isn't just about personal achievement. It's about proving that people from all backgrounds deserve opportunities, and it's about using your success to create paths for others. The barriers I faced, poverty, racism, low expectations, shouldn't exist. By overcoming them, I'm not just helping myself, I'm showing younger kids from my neighborhood that they can do it too." The audience erupted in applause. After the ceremony, several underclassmen approached Jamal, asking for advice. He gave them his contact information and promised to mentor them, just as Mrs. Thompson had mentored him. That summer, before starting college, Jamal worked with Mrs. Thompson to create a tutoring program for middle school students in his old neighborhood. They recruited high-achieving students from Lincoln Academy to volunteer. The program provided academic support, college counseling and mentorship, resources that many students in the neighborhood lacked. At college, Jamal majored in engineering while staying connected to his community. During breaks, he returned to run the tutoring program. He spoke at schools about the importance of education. He raised money for scholarships to help other students attend better schools. 10 years after graduating from high school, Jamal had become a successful engineer working for a tech company. However, he measured his success not by his salary or position, but by the impact he'd made. The tutoring program he'd started had helped dozens of students attend college. 3 students from his old neighborhood had followed his path to Lincoln Academy. When invited to speak at Lincoln Academy's anniversary celebration, Jamal reflected on his journey. "When I first arrived at this school, I felt like I didn't belong. I faced prejudice and doubt from others and sometimes from myself. However, I learned that belonging isn't given, it's earned through persistence and excellence. I also learned that breaking barriers requires not just individual strength but collective effort. We all have a responsibility to create more equitable opportunities for future generations." He concluded with advice that had guided his life. If you're facing barriers because of your background, remember that those barriers don't define your potential. They're obstacles to overcome, not limits to accept. And when you do overcome them, don't forget to reach back and help others climb too. That's how we create real, lasting change. Jamal's story became an inspiration to students from underrepresented backgrounds. He proved that with determination, support, and refusal to accept limitations, it was possible to break through barriers and create opportunities not just for yourself, but for entire communities.